The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is Universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Let's do some sports concepts and rationalizations. We call it the 10-minute drill. We're here for you, Jacksonville. We'll kick it around a little bit. We haven't had a good raucous fight in a day or two, so I may get after Jeff about something. I'll make something up.
Social distancing, buddy.
Just to push his buttons.
Is that why you brought in that switchblade?
Doesn't take much. Just bring up toilet paper. That's it.
Beef, what are we giving out at the end of this little segment?
Stay tuned for the end of the 10-minute drill. We'll hook one lucky Guggen up with lunch for two at Sonny's Barbecue.
Oh.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. If I was
Everybody loves to eat at Sonny's.
Sonny's Barbecue.
Sonny's makes it all taste right, I believe.
Sonny's makes it all taste right.
Why? Why can I not ever belt out one line and that be the end of it?
I have
silky.
a trivia question. Sonny's last name.
Yeah, Tillman.
Very
Jurgensen.
good. Very good. No, not Jurgensen. No. That's
a
not
different
the
one.
same. Different, yeah.
Corleone.
In Philadelphia.
Sonny Tillman. If I was a fan of the Stinkfish, I would
Miami
be
Dolphins.
I would be somewhat furious today.
You would.
Yes.
Most people are being complimentary of what the Dolphins
I
are
don't
doing.
like what they did at all.
Okay.
I'm because
They
here's
went
why.
and got Van Noy from New England.
Yeah, I paid the price, and I'm going to tell you why. I paid the price with an awful season, and I maneuvered. I got rid of everybody so I could get guys who are going to help us rebuild and win.
Okay.
All right? And this is what I got. I got a guy from Buffalo, Shaq Lawson, who to me is an average guy. Okay? Average. All right?
They thought they were getting Shaq Barrett.
Yeah, maybe. I got a corner from Dallas who, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm paying oodles of money for,
that
who I
one-
think has 2 career interceptions.
That was the
Or 2 of the last 2 years, or something along those lines.
the Byron Jones signing.
I don't think he's that good.
Well, that was the classic overpay for the best on the market
Yes.
guide. That happens all the time. We did that with it. What's the kid's name from Green Bay that we overpaid, Hick?
Well, we could go to
Devon House.
Yeah.
Remember when we signed Devon House to a pretty big deal? We didn't make him
Principal
Dan,
Kamara's out there.
Yeah, we didn't make him the highest paid.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah.
look, it's
Yes, Pete.
Dan, that's a 2 career. Those occurred in 16 and 17
Yeah, so and
when he wasn't playing corner.
when he's a lockdown corner in 18 and 19, he had no picks.
sometimes though
Zero.
sometimes
They never threw his way.
well,
Okay.
it's evolved to that being, if not
I'm just
validity,
saying.
then at least an excuse for
I'm
that.
finishing my Dolphin tour. And then I bring in a guy who, again, I know I worked in New England. Listen, when a guy leaves New England, he generally declines because they know how to use him better than we're going to use him. And Kyle Van Noy will become nondescript in Miami is my prediction. And so what I've done in this huge year, I got all this cap space, and I got all these guys. I need a bang, Jeff. I want a bang. I want to trade for Yannick Ngakoue. Or I want,
I think down in Miami, though, that
Yeah.
they look at Shaq Lawson and Yannick Ngakoue not that different.
Yeah, I
if you're a
want.
Miami fan.
I would rather get DeForest Buckner than Shaq Lawson or Eric Armstead or Conklin who went to Cleveland or I need some bang out of this NFL free. To me, the Stinkfish just added 3 guys who we cut 2 years ago because they just we weren't that good. I don't think these are
In
guys.
other words, they're bringing back the same kind of people that they moved on from.
I don't get it now. I know Miami will say, well, we got a pair of corners now and Byron Jones and the other kid Howard down there who was hurt last year. But I don't know, man. For me, I don't see it. I don't see that as the haul that I was looking for and what I wanted.
The key is going to be Lawson. I mean, he has got to emerge into a dominant pass rusher. And when you're talking about a guy whose career high came last year with 6.5, then why would you think that?
Yeah.
Well, you're only paying him $10 million a year versus Jan, who's going to demand 22.
Yeah.
So there's that as well.
Now I still have 3 first-round picks, so use those wisely. Steve.
Yeah,
use those
they
wisely.
probably should be aggressive and move up and get Tua.
Yeah. I just don't. I'm not excited. I'm
Well, what do you know? Bill Self says he'd like to go by the polls to claim to award the national championship. That is, you want to talk about self-serving and self-aggrandizing. I mean, really, KU? You really?
KU, you're a little bit bigger boy than that.
Stop it,
Shut
KU.
up. Shut up, Bill.
KU, hey, dear Kansas, dear Bill Self.
Dear cheater.
Way
cheater.
Way to use a national tragedy to try and pump up your own resume.
Yeah.
Well played, Bill Self. As if paying players wasn't enough, let's take a coronavirus that's shutting down things a lot more important than the Kansas basketball program, and let's give you the championship since the teams that would have beaten you in the tournament also can't play. This just in, Bill Self, the NCAA in basketball has not, does not, and will not ever name the champion based on a poll. They have a tournament. So teams that played all season knowing a tournament's coming, you can't hold them to the definition of a poll because they haven't held themselves to that standard. What a weak comment. Shut up, Bill Self.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Attack on Bill Self. Still one of the most I was at that Kansas-Florida game a couple years back when Big Pat was there. It was December, I think, maybe. Yeah, I think it was a December game, maybe January.
I think Embiid was there in that game.
Yeah, and Embiid, did he go to the Rock? Embiid?
He did. We played with the
Yeah. So anyway,
Wilbekin school, right? Isn't that where
yeah.
Wilbekin went? Yeah.
So I was at that game, and Bill Self was one of the. When I watched him coach, I thought, my gosh, he's a little over, like the sweat, the redness, the.
He's going to have a heart attack.
Yes, I was worried for him, quite frankly. Is what I'm trying to say. Bill Self. That's what I know. Think of Bill Self whenever you mention.
Well, the
his name.
NCAA better not decide on their own to use the final polls to identify a national champion. I mean,
No.
but considering it's the NCAA, a band of misfits, who knows what if there's some unfair way to do it, then count on them for doing it that way.
Why didn't Tom Brady sign yesterday?
Well, because someone has to offer him a contract, Dan.
I think the Bucks have offered, right?
Have you?
Well,
I haven't seen any
all
kind of
reports are
numbers.
the Bucks made it known he's their guy.
Well, Tom Brady should sign with
Chargers
the Bucks.
are interested in him.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he can get. I'm really hard rooting for him to leave just for the upheaval, just for watching Belichick without Brady, just for watching Brady play somewhere else. I think it'd be a very interesting storyline. His career's almost over. He's played his best football is behind him, that's for sure. But he can still be good enough on a good team. The Bucks are just loaded with weapons, man. I mean, they really, if they might be good with Brady, Dan.
I think they would be. I think
I mean,
they won't turn it over.
They might be a lot like Joe Montana's Chiefs. You know, a threat to go to the Super Bowl, even if you don't make
Joe
it. Joe
Montana made it to the AFC title game.
Yeah,
right?
and he went to the playoffs twice in 3 years.
Did he get? Was one of those losses an annihilation to the Buffalo Bills, where he got kind of knocked out, no?
I think the annihilating win for the Bills, I think, might have been a Raiders game, but I could be wrong. It was the 41-3. I don't think.
No,
it was
the Bills did annihilate the Raiders,
51-3. I think that. I think they pulled away in Montana's game, but it was more. I looked at this game earlier this year. It was more like 34-14, maybe, or.
He only played 2 years in Kansas
Yeah,
City.
and he went to the
8-3 and 9-5. So he must have. Did he get hurt?
He must have.
Year?
What was the Bills' playoff score though? Was it like 36-17
so it had been
or something?
1994.
I think they were close, and the Bills kind of tacked on a couple late. And the only reason I say this is because I looked at Montana's resume earlier, a few months ago. I'm going with those faded
memory.
Well, referencing probably more than memory. Yeah.
Memory.
Misty watercolor memories.
Yeah, they are misty water. He played in a playoff game and lost to the Stinkfish. Is that right? Yeah, Wild Card Saturday, where they were. What was the score of that game? 27-17.
I'm talking about the Bills game. He definitely lost to the Bills.
That was in 1994.
So the next year, then he lost to the Bills in the AFC Championship because they beat Denver. Maybe they beat somebody at home.
Beef, help me out here. I thought it was 93-94 he was there.
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah. In 93, they beat the Steelers in overtime in the playoffs, the Oilers, and then lost to the Bills 30-13.
30, and I think it was like 17.
That was his first year there.
Yeah.
Next year they lost to the
and then he retired.
Dolphins, and then he retired. But he won. So he won 2 playoff games and had him on the verge in his first year there. And I do remember the one I remember with Joe Montana is the Monday night game against Denver, right in Mile High through
against
the touchdown.
Elway.
He took him down the field,
And to your point, Jeff, it was 20-13 after 3.
That's what
as
it
the
was.
Chiefs had scored, and then the Bills tacked
And again,
on 10
I
in
don't
the fourth
remember
quarter.
that game, but I do remember looking up Montana's resume back around Super Bowl time, and so that it was kind of sticking sticking with me there.
Threw for 286 yards in that game. Was that his? So that was his last game. Did he get knocked out in that game though?
He got knocked out in that game. Dave Craig finished that game.
Okay, so he got woozy in that game or something, if I remember correctly. But anyway, that was it for Joe Montana. So, but the point being, I was surprised we went through day one and Tom Brady didn't do anything, and I think that's probably a better sign for New England that he's going to stay there. Yes, no.
If he's, I would want him there at their price.
But my point is, if he was going to sign with somebody else, why didn't he do it yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't
would he
know.
have done it
Maybe he
yesterday?
wanted one of the jobs, and now he's kind of having to refocus. Maybe he wanted to go to Tennessee all along, but I think if he wanted to go, they would have signed him.
The one that they say he wanted to go to was San Francisco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
I like the one thing I like it. We talk about this all the time, and they should do this, but they don't because they all get it wrong on ESPN. You know, they have or NFL network. They do the show, the draft tracking show or whatever, you know, all the different. And so they all sit around the table and talk. And, you know, Joe Cena's there and Tannenbaum's there. They're some of their dudes.
You all talking about Nook?
Talk a little bit about Nook and what else is going on. Nook Hopkins.
I call him Nook the Bomb.
But so that, to me, if you bring in Jeff Darlington, you should be able to bust him up a little bit. In this respect. Jeff Darlington's
What
here.
about all the teams that wanted him?
You've been telling us that Tom Brady is highly unlikely to go back to New England. What do you know now?
Yeah, and you also said these other teams wanted him.
Yeah.
No,
So,
apparently they didn't.
I mean, that's fair.
Sure it is.
And then he can laugh and say, well, I was wrong on that one or whatever, or he can backtrack. But I think you ought to at least hold everybody to a standard if you're dropping a bombshell in the offseason and it's a lead story for 2 days in the cycle, Brady looking like
I killed him on it when it happened. So if he goes there, right. This guy reported he was leaving. I mean, we can dress it up with some semantics and some
that's what he
disclaimers.
said.
He said he's leaving.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Just like Diana Rossini, I'll never trust a thing she said again, ever. She said Doug Marrone has been told he was fired. She said that. She reported it.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting these people.
And to her credit, or lack of, she basically came out and said, well, that's what Doug told me.
But he says he didn't tell her that. So I don't know there. Although I might believe her over him on that one. So that one, I'm not sure.
Throw.
All right. Our last item here in the 10-minute drill.
One more.
Would,
That's it.
Would fall under the
Just one more item.
Well,
one more item to.
And then we'll expand on a variety of topics as we go through a fast-moving sports morning here on the drill.
We'll come back with a Dan Hicken movie review.
Oh, you got another one?
Another?
Wow.
What are we doing? If I'm off
Social
TV,
distancing.
I was off TV last night. What am I doing?
You're not going to the
SD.
movie. Oh, I have. By the way, your movie review, I've come up with the all-time idea for your movie review when you give it.
Thank you. Am I going to make money?
No, it's a
You're gonna
thumb
spit-
system, Dan.
Is
No
it-
one's done it.
Was my idea not top shelf?
I don't know what your idea is.
I texted it yesterday. What, I'm supposed to read y'all's text and you're not to read mine?
I don't know. My phone's working right now.
Oh, my gosh.
You're throwing ideas out. We're doing some show prep. Is what we're doing.
Correct.
I must have missed that one.
I don't
as well.
know why.
Did I get that?
You kind of avoided us both on all the texts yesterday. We just assumed you were mad at us for some reason and moved on.
Oh,
We had
my
all,
goodness.
we
Look
had
at
all,
all this.
we had all kinds of group texts
Lots
going.
going
You
on.
were quiet over there, so we just figured, well, Hick's mad at one of us again.
Oh,
so
dear.
he spends, ladies and gentlemen, a little
He's in
known
his
secret of the
feelings.
drill. Dan is mad at one of us every
I
day.
think you guys might have been one of those back and forthers because I'm not seeing much here.
No, it was on the group text.
It's on the
Oh,
group.
was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you have some issues with your phone.
I see the dime bet question.
What? Now you're talking. What dime bet? Was there a dime bet question?
Oh, the
Beef?
people asking about you go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
brought it
that's-
up at the 6th.
Yeah, but that was
Yeah,
way,
this
it was
hazy
way ahead.
watercolor
That was
memories.
way before that. I think maybe Dan's got some sort of these texts yesterday.
CRS.
Hick,
I like this one. That's funny.
these texts were yesterday.
Anyway, finish your thought.
Yeah, what Beef texted? Oh yeah. Anyway, no, my thought is this.
Yes, sir.
This is from the anything for money category, and at some point you
And
have
chicks for free.
well, and at some point you have to realize that if you can't recreate the setting for which your either sport or television program originates from, if you can't create that kind of atmosphere and electricity and setting, you're best off not doing it. It's one thing to play like a basketball game in front of no fans because basketball is true competition. It's not contrived at all. There's no, fake emotional element to it. Having Monday Night Raw WWE with no fans,
It's weird.
is beyond weird.
Did
dude.
you watch it?
I watched it for the novelty. I was
It's
curious.
bizarre.
But so Stone Cold Steve Austin, you don't follow his, but he's like this his like tagline is 316, Stone Cold 316.
Gotcha.
A blasphemic play off of John 316, I'm assuming, but nonetheless.
Triple H.
So anyway, 316 was yesterday, right? March 16th. So that's the day he returns on Raw and does his little deal. But for him to do his thing and, what's his move called there? What's it called?
The stunner.
The stunner. That's what I was going to say. I didn't want to, act genius, and I'm not.
It's a diabolical move.
Did
Impossible to
stunners
defend.
on a couple of people, but it's like on a stage. He might as well be on a high school stage with no one else there, so there's no fans going crazy. When Stone Cold will slam his beer and throw it out into the crowd, and the crowd throws him beers while he's in there, and they're throwing him beers. It's obviously just like some intern tossing them. It was
Chappie. Maybe Chappie found one.
Maybe it was. So
God
if
bless
you
him.
saw it, at least highlights of it, it was just weird.
Yeah.
It was just weird, and I would encourage the because their big event is like next week, isn't it, Beef? It's coming up soon.
I think so.
Oh.
You don't realize how loud those rings are until there's no people.
Right, and when you can hear what they're saying to each other, it just loses all. It's just
Flip me
not
up
the
against
same.
the ropes here. Flip me against the ropes. And the other one, I'm sorry, I slipped my mind.
there a
I
cycle
want to
day?
finish my thought. Are you done with the WWE thing?
It was just
That was
weird.
good, yeah.
Well, and they have WrestleMania coming up, and they're talking about doing it like that.
They can't. You need an audience for that. Yeah,
100%.
The Dolphins also signed Eric Flowers yesterday.
Well,
that's a good get.
yesterday the narrative on Eric Flowers was this unbelievable career comeback he made last year with the Redskins.
Yeah,
who at least moved him to guard. So maybe the move to guard made a
maybe,
difference.
but
he wasn't very good here.
Or anywhere.
Well, it's terrible with the Giants. He once gave up like 7 sacks in Monday Night Football.
I think they pulled him out of that. Like we opened with the
He was
Giants.
terrible against the Jags.
And Calais was flipping him around like a rag doll.
And somehow the Jags
Abused him.
somehow the Jags watched that film and said, "Yeah, he'll help our line." Oof.
Gotta have him.
This is the drill. It's Cat and Chuck Accessories Tuesday. We've got much more ahead. The Dan Hicken movie review and my thoughts on the future of the industry when we return.
I'll take call number 2 right now, 641-1010. You're going to take home lunch for 2 on us from Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue. That's right.